Welcome to my week 1 battle of season 3 of the PDL. This intro is going to be a little bit longer because I actually am going to break down my entire team that I drafted before I get into the team breakdown and then the battle. I was going to do a full separate video on this, but I just didn't. I didn't think it would be long enough to have it as its own video. So here we are. This league is ran by my friend Record Man. He is in the VDL, my league, as well, so I think we fight him next week in week 7. But this is a post-home Paldea draft, so if the Pokemon is not in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it is not in this draft league. So Blastoise, Venusaur are 2 examples because not all the Kanto starters are in the game, or no Megas or anything like that. So I had 8th overall pick in the draft out of 12. There's 12 coaches. And a couple things that were on the board that I've never seen or used in Draft League before were Zamazenta Crowned, Spectrier, and then Landorus Incarnate. But with 8th pick, I figured they would all be taken by the time I got to pick. And Landorus was still on the board, and so I had to pick up Landorus Incarnate. I've never used this thing. It's always been banned to Ubers. I'm not much of an Uber player. And so yeah, Sheer Force is a really good ability, especially paired with Life Orb. It did lose Knockoff and Toxic and Defog, which Toxic and Defog I'm not too worried about. It would have been nice to have Knockoff, but it's alright. We'll make do without. Landorus' one big weakness is to Ice-type moves, but our second pick, Kingambit, actually is going to take those Ice moves, as well as Landorus takes the fighting and ground moves that Kingambit is weak to. I've wanted to use Kingambit in draft since it came out. It's a super strong Pokemon, and I'm really glad I got it here. It doesn't get Knockoff, because in Scarlet and Violet it doesn't get Knockoff, so that is one downside, but it's still a stupid strong Pokemon without it. Kowtow Cleave does a ton of damage. Sucker Punch is really good. Supreme Overlord, if you don't know, every time one of my Pokemon faints, I get a 10% boost, so I can get up to just a 50% boost by the end of the battle. This is one of my Terra captains as well. Terra works the same way in the PDL as it does in the VDL, so I get 20 points to draft 2 types, one of my own type, one different type. So this is a Terra Dark and Terra Flying Kingambit. Flying just gets rid of the fighting and ground weaknesses that Kingambit has. Next we have Slowbro. I have this in the VDL, so very similar things. It doesn't have Teleport or Scald, which kind of suck, especially Teleport. But it's still Slowbro. It's still a good physical wall. It's a bulky water type, which at this point there weren't many left. The only other one was Dondozo, which I could have got, but it doesn't have reliable recovery outside of Rest, and I'm not a huge fan of Rest. So, plus this thing just gets more coverage moves. It gets Psychic Stab, it gets Grass Knot, it gets fire moves, ground moves. So a lot more versatility when it comes to Slowbro. Next, I needed a poison type that was touching the ground, and Gengar was there, and I also needed a ghost type. So this also helps with Kingambit's weakness. So we picked up 3 Pokemon to cover the fighting weakness of Kingambit, which is a pretty big weakness. So it felt kind of necessary to do that. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything that Gengar lost in between the generations. This thing gets Toxic Spikes of its own, Encore, Haze, just a couple support moves, Destiny Bond, but this thing will mainly be an attacker with its very strong special attack and pretty decent speed. Especially up until this point, this is my fastest Pokemon that I've drafted. And since I've drafted a few slow Pokemon, Slowbro also can set Trick Room, but I wanted something that abused Trick Room as well. And Hatterene does both abuse and set Trick Room. It's one of the slowest Pokemon. I actually believe it is the slowest Pokemon on my team, but gets very strong moves. I mean, it doesn't get Moonblast, which kind of sucks, but Dazzling Gleam's alright. Psychic, Size Shock, Mystical Fire, gets Nuzzle to guarantee paralyzed stuff. Can run Calm Mind Draining Kiss sets, gets Giga Drain, I think Light Screen and Reflect, yep. So, as well as the Trick Room. So, I definitely liked this thing. It gave me a Fairy type that I didn't have. It does give me a second Psychic type, but I'm not too worried about that because Hatterene's not really weak to Dark types. And King Gambit is very good for the ghost types. Next, I picked up Tauros. At this point, up until this point, I've gotten everything I've wanted. The draft has felt a little weird. Like, some of these Pokemon, I didn't imagine myself using. Even though I was going to pick them up, once I'm starting to look at the team, I was like, oh, this looks a little weird. But it's all right. We'll get through. Tauros gets Intimidate and Cudchu, which are two really good abilities. I can run this defensive, set it up. I can run Choice Band, Choice Scarf. A lot of different versatility, and has pretty good coverage. Psychic coverage, electric coverage, grass in Trailblaze, which also boosts speed. Get Iron Head, ground coverage. So I think this is going to be a really cool Pokemon. Fighting Fire is a type we've seen a lot before, but not on a defensive Pokemon, like a possible defensive Pokemon like Tauros. This was where the draft deviated from what I wanted. At this point, I planned on picking up Noivern, but it got taken from me, so we ended up going with Dragalge. There weren't really many dragon types on the board at all. Like, even things like Regidrago were taken, and so I had to scoop up Dragalge. I didn't really want another poison type after having Gengar, especially with a huge ground weakness that I'm starting to form. But this thing gets really strong poison and dragon moves, and it really doesn't get checked by fairy types, which, with King Gambit being my steel type, being neutral to fairy, I kind of needed something to handle that. This is Ultra, also neutral, but with a really good special bulk, it's not gonna be like too scared of those fairy moves. Especially, like I said, with the adaptability, Sludge Bomb does a ton of damage. This thing gets flip turn now, I believe, in this generation, if I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, it doesn't. It had it, it lost it. Not a huge deal, though. Still get, like, really, like I said, strong Draco Meteors. Gets Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt. Toxic. This is a good Toxic Spike setter, probably better than Gengar. I didn't originally want Kleavor. I had something else that got sniped from me, but I wanted something to hit a certain speed tier, and Kleavor fell within that. It was a decently cheap pick. It can reliably set up Stealth Rocks with its Stone Axe with Sharpness. It's like a 97 base power move, 70% accurate. Or sorry, 90% accurate. Get Stab, U-Turn, X-Scissor, Trailblaze to boost its speed. It can Sword Stance up, close combat. The only thing that Kleavor lacks, in my opinion, is ground coverage. It would be nice if it got something like Earthquake or even Bulldoze, but we'll make do without it. Cryogonal was something I traded for at the end. My team lacks hazard control. Kleavor does get defog, but I needed some form of rapid spin, in my opinion, and Cryogonal fit as a rapid spinner because there weren't too many. It is an ice type, which has a horrible defensive typing, but I gave this Terra Water to try to fix that weakness. Like I said, it rapid spins. It doesn't get too much coverage, so Terra Blast Water will be good because I believe its other like best water move was like Chilling Water or Water Pulse. But besides being a good rapid spinner, this thing doesn't have too much use to me. You won't be seeing it too much throughout the season. Inteleon, my team has been slow. Gengar, or I think it was, yeah, Gengar, it being my fastest Pokemon up until this point, was not good. So I needed to fix that. So I picked up Inteleon. Base 120 speed makes it my fastest Pokemon up until this point. You can see my next pick, Electrode, fixes this even more. But Inteleon's just an offensive water type because both Terra Water, Cryogonal, and Slowbro are defensive. So this can pressure anything weak to water. It gets pretty good coverage too with Shadow Ball, Air Slash, Ice coverage. It can even just U-turn out. Good choice, Mon. So I don't see this coming too much, but still something that teams are going to have to prep for. In terms of Electrode, this thing's not too strong, and I actually don't think it gets Light Screen. It gets Reflect. No Light Screen, so I can't even use this thing as like a reliable screen setter. But being one of the fastest Pokemon besides Regieleki in the game just creates pressure for my opponent, and I wouldn't push this off because Electric's one immunity is ground, and Grass now covers that. So yeah, I think Electrode will come decently often this season. Last but not least, we have Masquerain. Only reason I picked this up was for sticky webs, just for a little more speed control. And that's also kind of why I picked up Cryogonal as well at the end. Was for rapid spin to kind of support this, so I didn't have to defog away my my webs each week. That's the team breakdown, though. This team is definitely like not something I typically think of myself using. Like I definitely have some mixed feelings about this team, but I'm intrigued to see how I do this season. I lost last season of the PDL in the finals, so I'm trying to redeem myself. But we're going to hop into the actual team builder for this week's battle, and then we're going to hop into the battle. Alright, here's the team breakdown for my current team for week 1. My opponent this week is Feathers. He is actually the person who won season 2 of the PDL, so that was last season. As you see on screen, their team is Chi-Yu, Goldango, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Screamtail, Cyclozar, Jolteon, Quagsire, Tornadus Therian, Wochen, Toxicroak, Frostmoth. The Jolteon being an electric and ice type, and the Tornadus being a flying and ground type Terra. So Chi-Yu is always a terrifying Pokemon to go up against, very strong on the special side. And overall, looking at Feather's team, very specially oriented with the Chi-Yu, Goldango. Cyclozar typically has like Draco Meteor, which is a very strong special move. Tornadus Therian typically running special, as well as Frostmoth. So Assault Vest on Hatterene looked very good this week. The investment into HP and special defense is to be able to take a Choice Specs Overheat from the Chi-Yu, because that thing is so strong. Even with an Assault Vest, I can barely take it. Nuzzle is to guarantee paralyze something that's not Quagsire, because even the Goldango can get paralyzed from Nuzzle, since it's not like a status move. Psyshock and Dazzling Gleam are general stabs, but also hit things really hard. Dazzling Gleam hits the Chi-Yu decently. More or less, we just want to paralyze that with Nuzzle if given the opportunity, in case it is Scarf. The only thing we got to be careful on is Quagsire. I thought about running, blanking, Giga Drain, but Mystical Fire just felt better for the just weakening things like the Chi-Yu. And honestly, last minute, I'm going to change that back to Giga Drain. That's why we do, I've been trying to do these beforehand to make like last little changes last minute. Next we have Gengar. This is a Choice Scarf Gengar. I actually have 2 Scarfers this week, in Landorus and Gengar, just because there's a lot of threatening things on their team that are faster, including the Jolteon, the Cyclozar, the Tornadus, the Screamtail, and even Choice Scarf Chi-Yu would be really scary. So I felt like I needed the double coverage just to be able to hit multiple things. They both are very strong on the special side, and besides Screamtail, like this team doesn't have the best special like wall, and Gengar does not have Sludge Bomb to hit. That's Shadow Ball to hit the Screamtail. So that's super effective. It'll do a decent chunk, as well as Trick on the Gengar to possibly cripple things like the Screamtail or the Quagsire. Pretty much, like I said, same thing with Landorus. Earth Power, Rock Slide, and Psychic pretty much hit the entire team, not Quagsire, for super effective damage, and then U-turns really just to switch out, get momentum for myself, for the rest of the team. Tauros, we have a Leftovers Intimidate. We got almost max HP, so we have we can take some hits, especially from anything like on the physical side, like Toxicroak or like a physical Cyclozar. Trailblaze is to hit the Quagsire and to boost our speed and bulk up. So this is kind of like a possible setup sweeper. We didn't really need another move outside of the fighting and fire coverage. And like I said, the Trailblaze not only boosts our speed, but I believe does 2-hit KO the Quagsire, which is quad weak to grass. Slowbro, main job this week is to handle the Urshifu Rapid Strike. Urshifu doesn't have a good way besides U-turn to hit Slowbro, and if it goes for Surging Strikes, the Rocky Helmet's going to hit it 3 times. Psyshock Surf and Grass Knot. Grass is a common theme to hit Quagsire because I struggle with that thing. Psyshock is to hit things like the Urshifu, Toxicroak, Tornadus, and then Surf for Goldango, Chi-Yu, those mons. And finally, in the back, we have King Gambit. Terra flying this week to maybe take a possible fighting move, aim to add it from Urshifu, or a ground move from Quagsire. Terra Blast is to hit said Urshifu. Sucker Punch, Iron Head, and Kowtow Cleave are just stab moves that hit literally the rest of his team super effectively. Besides the Chi-Yu, which we don't plan on like fighting Chi-Yu. Like I'm planning most of his team to be gone, because this is going to be like the last thing I send out. At least that's the plan. I haven't done any mocks for this battle this week. Been a little bit busy. It's also me just trying to adjust to a new team and playing a post-home format. I've never done that in draft, so yeah. Hope you enjoy the battle. All right, here we are with the battle against Feathers. I am nervous. Feathers is a good battle. Whoa, they changed the Goldango sprite. I like that. I wish they would put the 3D sprites in, but you know, here we are. Anyway, I don't really have a dedicated lead, but I don't see a reason to not lead Hatterini. I also don't see a reason to not lead Landorus. So I'm gonna lead Landorus. This is Terra Ice. Which I don't want to take if he does. I don't think this would be Choice Scarfed, though. I don't want to reveal I'm Choice Scarfed, though. Alright. I want a U-turn. I don't know. It's so early to risk. I'm gonna do it. Whew, okay. So he knows we're scarfed. We're gonna go Hatterini. Does a lot. That might be Specs. Yeah, that's Choice Specs. Modest Choice Specs. Damn. I'm gonna let it nuzzle off here. I don't think you stay in here. I don't see why. He's gotta know I'm Assault Vest now. It also says Psyshock just kills here, so I don't think he wants to take that either. So Nuzzle, great. We get a Paralyze on the Tornadus. So now this thing is way slower, way slower, which is good. I'm just gonna go for a Psyshock here, hit it as hard as I can. He has a lot of special attackers, and this is my best special wall, so we're just gonna stay in here. Huge para. That didn't take a lot. Physically defensive? Yes. I think that is like max defense, max HP, max defense. Wow. Alright, I let Dazzling Gleam go there instead. Goldango comes out, that's fine. We definitely don't take a move here. But Tauros switches into this decently. Yeah. We'll go Tauros here. Wow, that did a lot. That might be Choice Specs. Is everything Choice Specs? Jesus. No, it's not. It might just be modest. Yeah, that's just modest. We can be faster than him. Like, we're not, but Tauros just can be. I'm gonna Trailblaze here. Okay, he Shadow Balls, so that's alright. Tauros goes down. Could be Choice Scarfed, but our Gengar is Choice Scarfed itself. So we're just gonna come out here. Like, Shadow Ball is really obvious. I'm gonna click it though, in case like he is Choice Scarfed. Because I'm Choice Scarfed as well, so. I'm debating if I wanna. I could have went Lando here. Lando probably would have been better. Okay. Go Cyclizar. I'm gonna go Slowbro here. Well, it does get knockoff though. This is not good. I'm gonna go Hatterini. Alright, we're gonna die to the next hit here, unfortunately, but nothing I can do about it. This is rough. Rough start to the season. There's no way I come back from this. I don't think. Alright. Hatterini goes down to U-turn. He has, I mean, he can go literally anything here besides Quagsire. Quagsire's the only thing he won't go into. He'll either probably go Chi-Yu, Torn. Torn is parried, which is good, but he'll probably either go Chi-Yu or Golden Go here. Alright, I'm gonna go into Landorus here, and I'm gonna click, wow, Rock Slide doesn't kill this. That's crazy. I mean, I gotta click Rock Slide because Earth Power is very obvious. Yeah, and this is, like I said, fully Fizz Dev Torn. It's crazy. Rock Slide does nothing to Golden Go here. He could U-turn here, which if I Rock Slide, I have a good chance to Para-Flinch him. But I presume he's in a hard switch here. It's just safer. Golden Go is the best switch. Quagsire is also a good switch. Gengar, I gotta like make plays here if I wanna chance here. So I think I just go Gengar, like a hard predict, because Gengar can handle both Quagsire and the Golden Go. Perfect. Okay. Okay. I have Energy Ball to hit this, which he knows that Gengar gets Energy Ball. I also have Trick. I kind of want to Trick. But at the same time, I don't know if that's worth. I'm gonna Trick here. Alright, we take an Assault Vest. The Cyclizar gets our Choice Scarf. Knockoff doesn't kill here, and Dazzling Gleam says it has a chance to. But that's if he has no investment, and I don't trust that. I'm gonna go Slowbro here. Slowbro can probably eat knockoff. He doesn't have Urshifu either, so the Rocky Helmet really doesn't matter. I think Surf is my safest play here. He really can't do too much damage. We can just heal it off. If I click Psyshock, I get punished if he goes Chi-Yu or Golden Go. If Quagsire's Water Absorb, I have Grass Knot, which won't KO, but I mean it'll 2 a KO. Losing Tauros early on really sucks. Alright, I'm gonna go King Gambit here. King Gambit shuts this down pretty well. That does a decent amount of damage. It says Terra Blast has flying has a chance to kill this. And I kind of want to go for that. It's safer than clicking like either of my stabs. That does a ton. That's awesome. Okay. Alright, we're back in it. I'm just going to Terra Blast again here. That did a lot. Wow. That's got to be. I mean, no, that's like FizzDev, yeah. Yeah, even if this is fully max defense, I kill here with this Terra Blast. Awesome. King Gambit can reverse, like, just generally, it's such a good Pokemon. I'm still very worried about the Chi-Yu, though, but Landorus stops it. It can never be faster than Landorus right now. Gengar's no longer Scarfed, though, so I gotta keep that in mind. It's Assault Vest now, which, I mean, it might be able to take, like, a Thunderbolt now or something from Jolteon. I don't think he expected this to do so much damage. I mean, I didn't either. It's crazy. Now I don't gotta worry about Terra, because he Terra Iced first turn. And I think, like I said, Sucker Punch. Yeah, Sucker Punch kills. Sucker Punch actually just... Besides, Chi-Yu, Gambit goes in, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Like, nothing takes... this Torn is FizzDev, actually. Oh, I have it put in as FizzDev, and that doesn't matter. Wow. And the thing is I can just sack, like, I know it's not good for differential, but the more Pokemon on my team that died, the stronger King Gambit gets. So if, like, there's a roll or something, it's just, oh, let me just sack something real quick. Record Man came in and said, "Go, go, Vortex. I am an unbiased owner." Alright. The only switch-in he can really make here is Chi-Yu. Everything else dies. Yep. Okay, Gengar is the most useless member of the team at the moment, because I can use Slowbro a little bit more to pivot. Or no, I'm actually just gonna sack Slowbro. Literally, yeah. Okay, Slowbro goes down, which, I mean, that won't give us any information, but it's alright. Rock Slide still doesn't kill because I've gotten no damage off on this. I'm gonna U-turn. If he stays in, that's all right. We just sack Gengar. I think it's still okay. Because like I said, King Gambit is just getting stronger over here. But I don't think there's ever a world where Sucker Punch will kill if I sack the entire team either. So I'm gonna U-turn. Yeah, okay. I needed to do that. Okay, how slow is this? This thing's max HP, max defense, like, right? Like, I've confirmed that. I can't base it off of nuzzle damage. Psyshock hits physical defense. Okay, so my Psyshock from Hatterene did 31%. Which doesn't necessarily mean... It kind of does, though. I mean... Okay, but even if it has no... Okay, so I was looking to see if King Gambit could ever be faster. It can't. No matter what, King Gambit is slower. But does Sucker Punch kill? No, not at the moment. What about... How are we looking here with Gengar? Doesn't do enough. Ugh. Alright, we'll go Gengar here. This is rough. Like, Shadow Ball does the most damage, but I need to Dazzling Gleam because Cyclizar just comes in for free. This is so hard. Stays in, gets fully parried. Okay. Never punished. Never punished. I'm gonna Shadow Ball here, I think. Alright, he U-turns out. Which is fine, because we weakened it a lot, even with Regenerator. That para was huge. And honestly, my Shadow Ball didn't do... I'm so confused with this Torn. Maybe it's Assault Vest, too, is it? Maybe that's what it is. I really don't know. Okay, so I'm assuming this is Scarfed. It's played like it's been Scarfed this entire game. I'm just gonna... I don't want to go King Gambit here. Okay, so it is Choice Scarf. Alright, King Gambit comes out here. I could freely Sucker Punch here just to, like, not take damage. But then if he switches... Oh, I have to play this, like, so perfectly. I'm gonna Sucker Punch. Because if he weakens this too much, I lose to Life Orb. Come on, sack this. Don't sack it, but don't think I'm gonna go for Sucker Punch here. Come on. Awesome. Needed that. Okay. The problem is, it's not Chiyu comes out, and it's like, what do I do? Because I don't think Lando takes, like, a move here. At all. Do I just Sucker Punch this and hope that Rock Slide kills everything? That's kind of crazy, but because if I go Lando on the Chi-Yu, I mean it dies to everything if it's choice specs, and we don't know its item. Yeah, we'll do that. Alright, we try a Rock Slide win here. It doesn't KO Cyclizar from full, so we're just hoping. And the thing is, Cyclizar's Choice Scarf. Yeah, we lose. Now that I think about it, he just goes that, knocks off, and yep. Yeah, we probably should have tried to keep the King Gambit alive instead. But again, if he was choice specs, we lost. So this is probably better for differential, I guess. Oh, he's not choice scarf. Flinch. Damn. GG's. Because now Jolteon just wins. 2-0 is not bad, though. I mean, I could have played that better. My team could have been better. I need something to handle special attackers, like, even better. Like, Hatterene was alright, but could have been more, I guess is what I'm saying here. So that's GG to Feathers, 2-0. That's alright. Was Chi-Yu specs? That's all I need to know. If Chi-Yu was specs, I played that better. No, fuck. Okay, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the battle with him. But if you enjoyed, leave a like, and I will see you guys all later. Goodbye.